Welcome back. Today we are going to be going over the 2-color 9-layer gradient. So this is basically the same thing we did for the 2-color 7-layer. The only difference is we're adding in 2 extra layers. So that will change up our math a bit. Some parts are going to remain exactly the same and other parts are going to be different. So step 1, exactly the same as a 7-layer. We need to know the weight that each layer is going to be. We determine that the same way we did with the last one. We take the total batch weight, we divide it by the number of layers, and we get X. X is important. Again, we will be using that. We're going to be coming back to that. X will be different between our 7-layer and our 9-layer. Because we are adding in 2 more layers, we're going to be using less soap per layer if we have the same batch weight as we did in the previous soap we made. So let's go back to our 42-ounce example. The batch weight is 42 ounces total. We want 9 layers. So we take 42, we divide it by 9, and what do we get? We get 4.67 ounces. So in this case, each layer is going to be 4.67 ounces. And our 2-color 7-layer gradient, if you remember, each layer was 6 ounces. So there's a difference there. The layer color division is going to be the same. We have 2 colors. We are simply splitting them equally. 42 divided by 2 is going to give us 21 ounces. So that's 50% of one color and 50% of another color. Very easy. Step 3. Here it gets a little bit more complicated. We are splitting our layers up into 9 instead of 7. So if you remember, the previous example, we had 6 parts for 7 layers. Well, here we're going to have 8 parts for 9 layers. Again, this is important. We're working with parts and not layers when you get to the math of the next section. So again, this follows the exact same concept. We need to know what percentage each layer is going to make up. So I've created this chart and I've broken it down so you can see color A, the first layer, is 8 parts. And if you go over to the next row, you'll notice that it's blank because again, we're not going to be mixing any color into this one layer. Same thing if we go all the way to the end, color B, that has 8 parts, does not have any color A going into it at the very end. So how do we determine the percentage? We divide each part by 8. So 8 divided by 8 for the first layer, 7 divided by 8 for the next layer, 6 divided by 8 for the third layer, and so forth. So you're going to do all that math, which you don't actually have to do because I've done it and here it is. These are the percentages that we're going to be using. Again, this is just showing you how I came up with these amounts so you can understand where the numbers came from if you're interested. This is the chart that you need. This is where you're going to do all your math. Everything you need is here. So you're going to go back to the step 1 and you're going to get your X. So that was each layer weight and you're going to plug that into the chart here. So wherever X is, plug in your layer weight. In our case, it was 4.67. So I've plugged that into the chart. And now you do the math. 4.67 times 1, 4.67 times 0.875, and so forth. That's going to give you how much soap you need for each layer. For layer A, or layer 1, color A is going to be 4.67, and there is no color B. For layer 2, you're going to need 4.086 ounces of color A and 0.58 ounces of color B. Layer 3, you'll need 3.5 ounces of color A and 1.17 ounce of color B, and so forth. So, again, this is pretty simple. Put your cups in front of you. You want 9 cups in this case. I know my slide says 7. I just realized that. So pretend that that says 9. But put 9 cups in front of you and measure out what each cup needs according to this layer. Now, you don't have to create 9 cups. If you want to not dirty 9 cups or just use 1 cup over and over, you can take 1 cup and then measure out 4.67 ounces and pour it into your mold. You can take that cup, come back, and then measure out what you need for layer 2, 4.09 ounces and 0.58 ounces. Mix that together, pour that layer, come back, add the next amount into your cup. I have put it in all the videos. I've used cups and I've filled all the cups out with my measurements so that you could see exactly what we did. So there's 2 ways you can measure out your soaps. Again, this is just a visual breakdown so you can see exactly how much soap is going to be of each color on each layer. Pretty simple. Now that you've seen the math, again, I will show you the video of doing this. As I mentioned in the previous video, if you are interested in the complete 22-page handout that also includes blank templates that you can just plug in your math and then go make your soap for, I am selling those on my webpage, and I will provide the link in the comments below. So thank you for watching this little presentation, and stay tuned. Next up, we're going to be making the soap. Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a 2-color 9-layer pour. So I've done the math, filled out my worksheet. I have split my 2 layers, mixed in my 2 colors. Now I'm going to create my 9 layers. So just like the 7 color, I'm going to be dividing, or the 7 layer, sorry, I'm going to be dividing up each color into portions. So I'm going to start with layer 2, and I need 6.7 ounces 3.7 ounces of teal. I just went over. And 0.5 of white. So obviously the difference between this 9 layer versus the 7 layer is we have 2 more layers. So we're dividing less, or we're mixing. Let me go at that again. We are creating more color mixtures between the first color A and the last color B. So this layer is layer 3, and I need 3.17. And 1.06. This is going to be layer 4. I need 2.64. And 1.58. So this one is my layer 5, which is my middle layer, so I need 2.1 of each color. Okay, on to layer 6. So now we're reversing basically the color division. So this one is going to use 1.58. And 2.64 of color B. So 1.06 and 3.17. Layer 8 is 0.5, or yeah, 0.53. Oops, and once again, getting a little overzealous. M6 are 3.69. Okay, so that is, can't even put them all on here. So those are our 9 layers. Now I am going to add the fragrance to each layer as I pour and basically repeat with what I did with the 7 layer. Exact same concept. I said we just have more layers now than we did with the previous one. Okay, so this is the cut of the 2-color 9-layer. I did the exact same color theme and fragrance, just one had a couple more layers. So I will do a picture of these and show you a comparison between the two. My layers are a little bit better on this one. See, there's less writing up on the edges, though you can still see they're not completely perfect, which is okay for this. I actually think it kind of gives it more of an ocean feel, so I'm okay with this imperfection. I do like it.